Hello, 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 and welcome to the Cup TV, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real and the tea in reality. And you can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I'm your girl, Lana, your resident evil diva, and I'm here to give the tea, spill the tea, and drink the tea because you know I love me some tea. Purr. And I am drinking on some water here. New bottle, Jack.
New bottle, yay! Thank God.
New bottle. New bottle of water.
We're getting through them quicker now. Thank
we
you.
are. It's not taking us 3 days or 4 days, but we're getting there. But I also have my cup mug. Ooh, and Jack has his cup mug, which means we have a panel full of cup mugs. Panel full of cup mugs. Beer, 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 pow. And you can get your cup mug or any of our beautiful cup merch at lanagcreations.etsy.com. That link will be in the description below. And we do ship internationally and domestically here in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. So there are no excuses. Even if your postal service is moving a bit slow, it's okay. It's not an excuse. It's just a delay. And a delay is never a deny. So get your cup merch.
And hello, my name is Jack. I am the resident game designer of the panel, and I would also give Lana a friendship bracelet if it meant we could work together.
I will put you out of the game too, Jack.
God damn it. Oh my God.
I would totally put you out of the game. I'm sorry.
And you know what? I would respect you for it.
We will hug it out in the end, right?
Exactly.
We are here talking Deal or No Deal, episode 9. And yes, a lot happened, but not a lot happened all at the same time. So we're going to talk about it probably, I say pretty quickly today. I think today is going to be a pretty quick episode for us. But before we jump into the episode, y'all know what to do. Hit the subscribe button to this channel because we are trying to get 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. That is our mission. That is our goal. And we would appreciate you if you would support us in that mission by subscribing to this channel. We talk most things competitive reality television. So if you are a fan of that, Survivor, Amazing Race, Big Brother, Deal or No Deal Island, Love Island, any of these shows, follow us here on this channel. We give you all the tea that we can, and we break things down how we break things down. And if you're a fan of Drag Race, Eurovision Song Contest, or WWE Wrestling, we have 3 other channels for you. All those links will be in the description below. You can click on them, subscribe to those channels as well. If you need to check us out on the go, we have audio podcast links for you down in our description below as well. So you can check us out on the go, when you're on the bus or the train or riding in your car. You need to listen to us. Check us out. And our Patreon is open. It's available for you, where you can get behind the scenes things. And when we're not talking about the Deal or No Deal Island or any of the other stuff we talk about, you can get to know who we are as panelists a little bit better. All the fun stuff that we have. Check it out. We're all ready for, join our Patreon for that. And enough about all of that now. Jack, it's time to talk about this episode.
What an episode. It is, strategy-wise, it is rather simple, but it does feel like it is very much bringing us fully into the end game.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we start on the beach, just like we always start. And we have a conversation that David is having with Dixon. And Dixon is talking about how, he is going to go through with this friendship bracelet plan that he has with Letty. He's going to give her a friendship bracelet. And he's been crushing on her a little bit. And so he's going to try to woo her. And he's going to tell her he's ready to break free from the family. But he tells David, but that's not the case for me.
And
David's like, yeah, great. We've been new. We've been new. But it's okay because Dixon explains everything to us. And if you want to check out our interview that we just did with Dixon, go check it out. It's out there right now. And we'll put the link right there. So check out the
With
interview.
Dixon, wait, we don't even know who's eliminated yet.
Spoiler.
Yeah.
If you hadn't watched the episode, why are you
sorry, but I mean it's worth it. It is
It's
really
worth it.
It's so good.
I'm sorry, y'all. I kind of forgot what we were and that we didn't talk about that. But spoiler.
But we do have Dixon going over to Letty and handing her a friendship bracelet and kind of coming together. With the side note of Parvati saying, yeah, so we actually talked about this like days ago. This is actually my plan just happening right now. So
as Parvati and David sit there and watch the whole ordeal go down, like that's not creepy at all.
Not creepy at all. And they say, hey, are we gonna just ignore the two people that were kind of trash talking just like over there, just watching? Dixon's like, yeah, ignore it. We're good. I'm with you 100%. This friendship bracelet seals it. You're my island babe now.
My island babe. You're my island girl. And she's like, oh, that's so very sweet. I'm his island girl.
And I mean, that's really all we get. We just get a very simple, hey, Dixon needs to decide between sticking with David and Parvati or potentially actually joining up with Letty and kind of cutting them out. And then we get to our excursion.
Because that's where we go.
That's it.
It's nothing else.
I want to say this is the simplest excursion that I can think this game has ever had. It is, simply put, grab one of the 7 briefcases. The more money it has inside, the harder, the heavier
it is.
There are 5 silver briefcases and 2 red ones. If you take a silver briefcase, all you have to do is get across. If you get across the small balance beam or manage to drag yourself through quicksand if you fall off, you keep that case. Otherwise, you draw a low value case at random.
Mm-hmm.
If you grab a red case, which are the heaviest cases, and get across, congratulations, you are completely safe for the episode and you can basically be ignored. If you don't, however, you are automatically in the bottom 2 and can be chosen to face the banker. Mm-hmm. So massive risk, massive reward, and I mean, there's one more small element, but I think we can get into the challenge first before we divulge that.
Yeah, so Dixon is going to go first. He's going to go first, and he grabs the red case. Of course, like who wouldn't? He was like, I grabbed this case. I make it to the final 5. No problem. I'm grabbing it. Grabs the case. He gets on the platform and sees how narrowly small this beam is. Like this beam is 1 finger.
They knew what they were doing. Simply put, they knew what they were doing.
Yeah, it's the slimmest beam. And they wanted everybody to fall into that pit of quicksand. That's what they wanted. And baby, that's what they got. So Dixon starts walking across. He falls in, of course. And so now he's going to try to power his way out of this quicksand. But that quicksand is quicksanding. And it's doing what quicksand does. The more you fight it, the faster you sink. And he was just sinking. He was just going and couldn't really move. He was trying to move. He was
fully stuck. Every single action Dixon takes just honestly drags him deeper in. And Jonathan just kind of looks and goes, so you have 60 seconds left. And then you have 30.
And then it was done. Like
it was over. It was never gonna happen.
It wasn't happening for Dixon, so he falls off. So Dixon now gets to pick who goes next. And
now he has a decision. He can either give David and Parvati control again, because
they always
basically
had
the next person to go can straight up say, I want immunity. Or if they can figure out what the heaviest case is, I want power.
right,
Which is essentially
what happened?
also immunity.
Which,
but he can also choose Letty,
mm-hmm.
or he could choose someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And Dixon thinks long and hard. And he picks David.
He picks David. He picks
same old.
It's like, oh, wow. Okay. So David goes, he picks the heaviest case. He's like, I'll go with the power. Grabs the heavy case, goes across, steps a few steps, falls into the quicksand, but knows immediately to stay above the quicksand, more like swims in it instead of trying to trudge through it, because apparently he had quicksand knowledge.
Is that just a thing that Australians know?
I don't know. I don't know if that's what they have to watch out for in Australia.
The spiders, kangaroos, quicksand, like all three of those should be, I think, in the Australian handbook. So
of survival,
it just makes sense.
Yeah,
and
so
he makes it.
He makes it across
with no problem,
easily.
None
time left, everything, and so. I wonder who David's going to pick. I don't know. It's a lot of choices left, and who would David pick?
Okay, so we have Philip, we have Parvati, we have CK, we have Parvati, we have Letty, and we have Parvati.
He chooses Parvati, people. No questions asked, because
it's not a question. It's so obvious.
So obvious. She gets that red case so she can be immune. That's what they planned all along. And so she does. She grabs the red case and she gets on the beam, falls off the beam. For a second, we think maybe she won't make it. Maybe she won't make it. And with like 2 seconds left, she makes it.
Okay, and Parvati is safe for the
ninth
time in a row. In terms of a possible record to be set, basically the only way this record extends at this point is if someone goes the entire game safe or the cast size grows.
Right.
Like, what are we doing?
It's crazy. It's maddening how she is just week after week after week, just safe. No chance of being put up. No chance of being put out. Just safe. It's maddening. It's crazy to me. But Parvati goes and she picks CK to go next. And CK, she starts on the balance beam. She takes a couple of steps. She slips and hits the rail and flips over face first into this quicksand, like poosh. I thought she broke her neck.
I thought she was just dead. It's like, yeah, so CK has been removed from the game because she's dead. This is like Wipeout level fall. Like, oh my God. I do not know how she didn't break a bone. Like how she didn't walk into the next temple in a full body cast.
Baby, she hit it. It was I was like, oh my God. Like,
she's gone. She's over.
Gone. It's over. Like, there's no way. But she gets up and she's like, no, I'm good. I'm like, girl, are you? But she was good. And she pushed and she made her way across and she made her way over and she was successful. Then she picks Letty. Letty does the same thing, falls in, and she was like, but I'm not going to do a CK. I'm just going to jump into it. Like, not gonna hurt myself. So she jumps, she gets across, whatever. We have a moment with Philip. He's like visibly upset that he got nobody picked him. He got picked last. Um, and he's kind of in his head. And I think Philip was going through a moment, or since these last few episodes, I think he's been in his head a lot about his place in this game and the friendships that he thought he had or whatever. I think he's like having a mental issue with what is happening because it's all over his face. And then the way he was like, yeah, I'm upset because he said, I kind of feel a type of way because, all this stuff, feeling not all my life, not feeling like I'm chosen and expressing that in this game and still not be chosen. And it's just, I think he's literally going through a inner turmoil.
Yeah. I mean,
mental thing at this point. I kind of feel bad for him.
I think it's also just kind of knowing, like, yeah, so if everyone played this challenge the right way and can discern which case is the heaviest, I'm in the bottom and there was literally nothing I could do about it.
Right.
Like, the reason I'm in the bottom right now is because of how Dixon picked David.
Yep.
Because it was that simple.
Yeah.
Dixon decided to go for safety and then actively decided not to play. It basically gave the game to David and Parvati, and that was it. So he's literally just watching himself be like, okay, and I'm not picked after them, which means I'm going into elimination.
Right.
Great. And I mean, I think it definitely is a thing of like, great, I'm in danger tonight. More than likely, I could be shot out. And if it's not me, if it's not me who gets targeted, it's probably Letty. So the only person he really still considers a friend on the island, it's now either one of them.
Right.
So I definitely understand how Philip is feeling.
Yeah.
It is a very hopeless situation from his perspective.
Absolutely. But he does get across. He falls into the quicksand. He has to push his way through, and he gets himself across with the second left, and he makes it to the platform. So good on Philip, making it across. So we open up the cases, and of course, David has the heaviest case, so he had the most money. Philip had the lightest case, so he's in jeopardy. And Letty is also in jeopardy. So it's Letty, it's Philip, and it's Dixon who are in jeopardy of playing the banker. But CK is safe from playing the banker, but she could still be picked if somebody makes a good deal. And so that's how the cookie crumbled in this situation, in this simple challenge.
It's so simple, and I know for a fact that production wanted this to be a lot more impactful, but unfortunately, David literally looked at the challenge and went, I know exactly how to solve this to make sure that I'm good. And then Dixon just gave David the chance to do it. So, I mean, good on David and Parvati. I mean, once again, they're untouchable. The only person touchable, if everyone is pissed at them, is Dixon, who is now in danger. And I mean, Dixon, Philip, or Letty one of them is going to play the banker. And then those three and CK are the only people that can be hit in the event that someone wants, in case someone wins.
Right. So we see Philip, Letty, and Dixon in the water when they get back to camp, trying to wash this quicksand and mud off of them. And they're talking, and they're like, does anybody want to go and face the banker? None of them really want to at that point. And they're just kind of trying to figure out who will how should we do this? How do we step up and say this? How do we figure this thing out? But nobody really wants to play the banker. David enters the conversation and he's like, so does anybody want to play? And they're like,
not really.
Philip was like, look, I'm not in the right headspace for this. I don't think this is a good time for me. I mean, if you do it, I mean, I get it, but this is not. I don't want to.
I would rather not.
I would rather not. And for some reason, David actually trusts Philip a lot. He was like, Philip is someone who I definitely trust more than I trust Letty at this point, and maybe even Dixon. Which I was like,
what? I genuinely think it's because I can't think of a moment really where Philip has ever done anything directly negative to David.
no.
He's kind of done it in tandem a little bit to the family as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
But I think even David can recognize, like, hey, that was just your best move, and you've never come after me. You've come after Parvati. You've kind of come after Dixon, but not me.
Right.
And I think I can work with that.
And so he literally looks over at Philip and like put his hand on his shoulders like, you're good. You're not playing tonight. And I think that was the relief that Philip needed because, like I said, he is mentally struggling at this point. He is going back and forth and dealing with a lot of emotions and feelings and all of whatever is going on in his head. He is dealing with it. So his headspace wasn't the right. So David recognized that and told Philip he wasn't playing. Relief for him. Relief. Mm-hmm. So it was going to be between Letty or Dixon to play. David does not want Dixon to play. He's like, Dixon, you've already played. Letty, you put me in to play. So I feel like the best bet would probably just to,
to do that.
Just to put you in. It's fair to put you in because you put me in. That would be fair, right? And she's kind of like, I mean, I don't really want to, but I can't stop you from doing anything.
And Letty in Confessionals is like, hey, just so we're aware, if he does this, I will be coming for him since he does have a weak spot kind of open.
Right.
But David and Parvati are convinced that Letty will probably go after CK.
And I mean, probably with what happened between Letty and CK, I could probably understand why they would think that.
But I also do want to point out that we did have a small conversation from Parvati and David as they were watching Letty and Dixon talk and going, do we think he's actually loyal to us? Like, we're pretty late in. He could totally flip. If we have to cut him and he goes because we can still keep each other alive.
Right.
So, honestly, in my mind, it probably was half like, you know what? We don't mind if CK goes, but also if Dixon ends up in the firing line and goes home, that's one less problem for us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. They weren't like, oh no, Dixon can never go. It's just, if he goes, he goes. It will suck if he goes. But if he goes, he goes.
And I do want to point out one thing that we did skip over only because I'm thinking of it now. David did directly ask what chess piece Dixon was. And Dixon first responded with pawn before swapping to knight.
He said knight. He didn't even get out pawn completely. But David picked up on that.
David was like, you know what? Yeah, you are a pawn, but you can say knight. That's good. That's good for you. And I mean, unfortunately, Dixon is absolutely just a pawn in Parvati and David's game at this point because it is king, queen, and then a pawn. Mm-hmm. But I mean, with that, we go to temple.
Well, no, because we do have a conversation with.
Oh, we do, yeah.
David and Letty. And Letty is like, listen, what you said out there in the water, I kind of feel like you were directing it at me. And I just want you to know that if you go for me and I win, I'm taking out Dixon. And he was like, I mean, I get you having to say that because you don't want me to put you up. She was like, I'm just saying it because that's what it is. And he was like, okay, we'll see. Okay. And he just kind of left it alone. And they just kind of just ended like, oh, okay, we'll leave it where it is. So then we go to Temple. And David is going to make his selection on who he's going to have play the banker. And Dixon is like, put me in. Because Dixon has decided he wanted to go in. He was like, for some reason, it feels right. I want to go in. I want it to be my decision. I want to have the fate in my hands. Put me in. And David was like, I don't want you to go. I don't want you to go. He was like, put me in, put me in. I don't want you to go. I don't want you to go. Put me in, put me in. That's what we saw a little back and forth. So when we get to Temple, David is like, Dixon, you've already played before. And Dixon like, and I want to play again. He was like, yeah, but I feel like you've already played before, so I'm picking Letty. And Dixon's like, but I'll play again. But by that time, he had said Letty, and Joe was like, all right, Letty, come on up. And she was like, all right. But if I win, you going home.
And it's that simple. David's like, yeah. No, I'm not surprised at all by this. You told me. You told me straight to my face.
Straight. And she was like, and Dixon was like, see, I told you, dude. I told you. She was like, I mean, if I win, you're going home. And so Joe was like, wait, so you saying it's either you or Dixon tonight? And she was like, yeah. That's it.
And Philip and CK in the back go, thank God, we're good. We are good tonight. We don't have to do shit. We can actually just root for Letty and have fun because, oh my God.
Cheer, and cheer again. Like, that's all they will go do. And so they were like, all right, yay, you know.
They just get to enjoy the night, root for Letty, let her make the good decisions, and everyone else gets to have fun.
Absolutely.
Except for Dixon, who is now basically like, great, I have no agency, and if Letty wins, my game is just immediately over. Love that. And
that was that. So she picks her case, which was case number 2, because that was her volleyball number. Now I'm gonna say this. I was told to give my opinions a little bit more on these podcasts instead of just recapping. Thanks, David. And I'm gonna give my opinion right now. Letty, you doing too much. Baby girl, I'm gonna need you to calm down. Because this, I mean, and here's the thing. I'm not saying she is too much. I say she was just doing too much in this game. Like, she like, yo, I'm gonna pick 2 because like 2 was my volleyball number, and that's what I'm gonna pick. Like, where did this accent come from? Where was all this neck kept popping and all this booyah? Like, where was all of this before? And now all of a sudden we get, I'm gonna pick this number because I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do this. And I'm like, girl, bring it down 1,000 and calm it down a little bit, because you were not acting this way any time before at all. Not doing challenges, not at the camp. Like, we didn't see any of this on TV. But now you get to play the banker, and you know all eyes are on you. And now we get booyah. Like, girl, bring it down a couple of notches. It's okay. It's okay. You're fine. Just the way you are, you're fine. But I just had to say that because I was like, who is this? Who is this? Just my personal opinion. But she goes on and she starts playing. She picks 2. And she does really well the first round. She knocks out 3 of the small cases the first round and 1 of the big cases. And so her deal though was like
$273,000, which, if I remember right, was 5 above and 3 below.
Yeah.
Which even Courtney is like, hey, I didn't need to go to college to tell you that's bad odds. You don't want to take that.
And she was like, I knew it. I'm not going to do that. And so she was like, she'll just ask the question. He was like, oh, okay. Deal or no deal? She's like, no deal. So she goes on. She knocks out 2 of the high cases. And then, or was it 3 of the high cases and 1 of the low cases?
3 of the high cases being 125K, 2.25 million, and 1 million.
Yeah.
And then the smaller case of 1K.
Right. So she takes out 3 big cases, 1, and then that case, then she was offered
$599,000.
Right.
Which is a pure 50-50.
Right. It's 50-50 at this point. So she's like, go back and forth. And she says no deal to that. And Joe's like, don't knock out the 2.5 million. Don't knock out the 2.5 million. She's like, I don't want to do that. And then she goes and knocks out the 2.5.
It's so good. It just like everyone going, yeah, it happened.
She knocks that out, and then that gives her a good $550,000 deal. And she has 2 million and then 1.75 on one side, and then 250 and $1 on the other side.
It at this point, after that 2.5 million goes 2 good deals and 1 bad. And I mean, either you run to the end at that point or you take it, because you will never get a better odds at that point. And
she took the deal.
Take it.
She took
nice
the deal.
And easy.
Very nice, very easy, quickly. And she opens her case, and she has $250 in her case.
Meaning she made a good deal.
And she is a woman of her word.
As simple as that, and that is the end of Dixon.
That's it. Like, she said what she said, and she meant what she said, and it was what it was. And Dixon recognized, he was like, what she did was game. I would have did the same thing. It only made sense. Like I said, he talked about it in the interview that we just had with him. It was great. Everything is cool and copacetic. David feels horrible because he's like, I should have listened. He's like, nah, it's cool. It's all good. Dixon says his goodbyes. He's out. And so everybody's about to go back to the camp, and they start walking away, and then the phone rings. And they all like, oh, the banker's calling. So the banker calls. Joe answers. He's like, oh, okay.
That's fun.
All right. Well, I'll tell them that. Okay. All right. So the banker says he has some twists and some turns happening in this game. And on the next mission, 2 people are going home. They didn't say the next temple.
They said due to the next mission or something similar to that, 2 people
are going home. Right.
And that is where we leave it.
Yeah.
It's just kind of everyone going, oh, okay, we have a final 3 this season. We're not doing a final 4.
Not a final 4.
Every single person basically expected a final 4 based on last season, but as the bankers put it so many times, the game is not so easy anymore.
Nope. So we have a final 3. And so 5 will become 3 next week. So we will see what happens and what goes down next week. And me and Jack will be back here to talk about it. So.
Well, no, I'll be here. My brain is not working. I was trying to form a sentence and it broke. Fully broke. Well,
we'll be
we
back
have a fun episode next week.
Yep.
40% of this cast is going home.
Absolutely.
And will Parvati make it to the end of this game being safe the entire time?
Crazy.
I'm going to say yes, just in advance. I'm saying that she just makes it all the way through and is never in danger because, of course, she would. She would do that.
Well, we'll see, and we'll be right back here talking about it. So, you all, thank you for watching. If you stuck around with us this whole time, we appreciate you very much. I hope you hit the subscribe button already. If you haven't done it, do it now so we can reach our goal of hitting 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We appreciate you very, very much. Follow us on all of our other channels, our audio podcast links, our Patreon. Follow us on our socials at The Cut Pod on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky. You can follow Jack and myself. And you can also get your merch at lanagcreations.etsy.com. And we're going to just say cheers, y'all.
Cheers.